Okay, just to recap again, leaving in a couple days for the LRH group elk hunt in western Wyoming. It's a 5-day hunt, drive to base camp, and then ride out on horses every day and hunt out in the mountains and ride back every evening, stay at base camp. So this is my gear for a guided hunt, horseback, but not where you're packing back in 15 miles and living back there. It wouldn't be a whole lot different than this, but obviously you'd have some other equipment along. So this is day hunting. I went through all my gear. I went through all my clothes, and now I'm just going to show how I would load my pack. So, I'm guessing a little bit as to exactly what the weather's going to be like that first morning, but I assume I will have some combination on of my 3 jackets. I've got a dew point, Sitka dew point rain shell. I've got a 90% jacket, which is kind of like a soft shell, a glorified fleece, kind of a thinner jacket, but a nice layering piece. And then I've got a down, Kelvin down ultralight jacket. So probably some combination. Let's say I'm going to have the 90% jacket on. I'm going to have the dew point jacket because it's going to be a little rainy. So then what I would do is I've got my puffy coat, I've got my Kelvin puffy pants that I'm going to pack with me. I'm going to assume it's going to be potentially cool enough, but I'm going to want to bring those kind of just in case and hope to not have to use them. And then I've got my dew point pants, my rain pants. I've got 2 Eberlestock 5-liter roll top dry bags, and I will take some of these layers and just stuff them in these dry bags and kind of base it on what I think I might want to grab next. I think what I'll do is I'll put my rain pants in this one, and then I'll put my puffy coat in to that same one. And that, if I want, that can pack down that small, but I don't mind having a little bit of, I almost kind of want to fill up my pack a little bit because then it's a better shooting rest. I can lean into it. And the roll top dry bag, as opposed to just a stuff set, gives this some sort of rigidity. So now this will be in my pack. It's a good organizing tool, but also I can pull it out and use it as a shooting rest. Maybe I'm leaning into a tree, and if I just get this under there, I guess it would be this way. If I just get this under there, I've got some support there, or maybe a front rest or something like that. So, and then I'll stuff my Kelvin pants in this other one. Now with puffy layers, it's great to have them in a roll top dry bag because they're protected from moisture. So even from sort of an emergency preparedness standpoint, it's a pretty smart thing to do. In fact, I think what I'll do is I'll also put my fire starter kit in here. This is a few sticks of fat wood, which is like pine with tons of resin in it. 2 propane lighters, and then a bunch of duct tape wrapped around. I can use the duct tape to start a fire too. So I'll put that in there too. And these are going to go in the main compartment of the X2 pack. And X2, it's a top-only access, so kind of simple. Some people might prefer to have this be accessible too. This has been fine for me. And I'm going to kind of force them both down into the bottom. Now they fit in there pretty nicely. And I don't have a ton of other stuff that I need to fill the pack up with. I'll have my lunch, and for us it's usually in a paper bag, and it's depending on how hungry you are, it can be kind of big, and you don't want to crush it, so that'll probably go in there. This is my rain tarp. I wouldn't necessarily have this with me on the hunt, but I'd probably have it in the saddlebag on the horse, but let's just say I was going to bring this too. Probably put it in perpendicular. Let's say it's a rainy hunt. I've got my waterproof rain cover for my pack. I'm just going to shove that in here too. Actually, I probably want that on the very bottom of the pack. hoping I don't need to get at it. Game bags, I might have on the saddlebags on the horse, but if I was going to bring them, I'll just put them right there. A rear shooting bag, I may or may not want to bring that. If I was going to bring that, I'd probably want that relatively readily accessible. So I'd maybe put it in one of these simple cinch top pockets on the side. Figure out just how tight I wanted that to have it stay in there but be able to get at it. I've got my favorite little Thermarest Z seat. I usually want this pretty accessible because you take the pack off, drop it, I want to just be able to grab this and sit down right away. So I might run it through here. Just so that it's real easy to grab it and shove it back in there when it's time to go. I've got my Primos Polecat shooting sticks, so these obviously need to be accessible. The most likely shot for me out there is going to be hurry up, get your pack off, get your shooting sticks set up in the front, be leaning back into the mountainside and figuring out a way to build a rest in the rear and doing it all as quickly as you possibly can. So these need to be accessible. I think what I'm going to do is run them through this webbing on the side of the pack with just one of the legs, and then put the bottoms into this down here. I'll do it back here. And I've done this before, and they stay in there, they don't fall out unless you're being really careless with the pack, and then you can grab them immediately as you're taking your pack off. Okay, some of the smaller stuff I'm going to put in this top lid pocket. I'm going to put one or two of my headlamps. I'd probably leave one headlamp on a horse saddlebag, maybe in a little bag or something like that, and then I'll put one in my pack. My knife, my emergency bivvy, and then my baggie with all my little stuff. Extra batteries and first aid kit and fire starter and electrical tape and stuff like that. I like to have all that little stuff in its own bag so you can pull it out of here, see what you need and get at it. I've got my sound gear hearing protection. Once I put them in for the day, I'm really done with this, but it might end up in my pocket, otherwise probably up here. I've got my Garmin Rhino, so I'd want to make a waypoint of base camp so I can get back there. Make sure it's up and running in the morning and tracking my ride on my horse, and then throughout the day I might mark a waypoint here or there, with the goal being that if I get lost or separated from my guide or someone's injured or something like that, I can know what I need to know to get back. I don't necessarily need it real readily accessible. In a situation like this, the guide's really taking you, you're along for the ride, you're not having to stop and navigate with it. So I'd probably put it somewhere, not necessarily clipped on my shoulder strap or something like that. I guess I'd probably put it in this top lid also. I've still got more room in there. I don't need anything else, but I could get a bunch of snacks in there, extra hats and stuff like that. All right, the water bottle will go in there. I'm not sure if I'll, be bringing a spotting scope out with me. This is an 85 millimeter. This is a Zeiss Gavia. Usually I run more like a 65 millimeter, and that fits really well in these wing pockets. So then I would put my spotting scope in this wing pocket, and straight or angled, either way it works well. And then I would put my tripod on the opposite side. I think this Gavia 85 probably won't fit the way I want it. take it back. That's pretty good. This has a protective case, and it's got a whole bunch of extra room here. So without that on that, I could definitely zip that shut. So I'll probably do some version of that. And I'll have the tripod on the other side. What I like to do is there's an inside, just a flat pocket, and I put 2 of the legs of the tripod into that. And then that'll just get closed when everything gets wrapped up, and it's easy in, easy out. Because my water bottle's here, that kind of, and the tripod's here, that kind of eliminates any storage on this wing pocket down there, but I've got some storage up there. So maybe I'll put my balaclava, and if I had an extra pair of gloves that I was going to bring, maybe I'd put those in there. That's really it then. So, nice compact, good handle for picking it up and putting it down. I wouldn't necessarily go out with the tripod in the spotting scope, and as you can imagine, that makes a huge difference in just kind of how much weight I'm dealing with and how much stuff I'm dealing with. Take those out of there. Life gets pretty simple. So again, my lunch would go in there too. Who knows what else, but this is kind of the general size that I'm hunting with on a day hunt. I feel like I've got everything I could need. In a pinch, I can haul a bunch more if I need to. I've got good emergency stuff in there, so I feel pretty self-contained. I've got my extra ammo on my gun, so I don't need extra ammo in there. I'll have either my SIG Kilo 2400 or my G7 BR 2500. One obvious thing is that the G7 is quite a bit bigger than the Kilo. The Kilo, I'll have a lot of good options for how to have it really accessible. Maybe in a pocket. It's a little bit trickier with this. I've usually attached it to the waist belt on my pack, and I'll thread the flat part of the waist belt through the webbing on the back of the G7 case and have that on my waist belt. And it works good, it's accessible. Obviously when you lay down, there's a fair amount there. So that's one thing to think about. You could maybe have it somewhere in your pack and be able to get it quickly enough, but obviously you need your ballistic rangefinder to be real quickly accessible, so that's something to think about. And I don't know, that's about all I can think of. Let's talk about attaching a gun to the backpack. So there's always some way or another to attach a gun to a backpack. Some of them make it quicker and easier than others. Eberlestock packs are kind of famous for the rifle scabbards, and those work great because they're quick and easy to put the gun in and pull it out, so you're more likely to use it because it's easy. You've got some extra material there that you're hauling around, so for me, I usually like to go kind of lighter weight. So I've actually gone kind of ultra lightweight. I have a piece of paracord here, and it's just a loop, a little noose, and it's tied into some webbing right here. And when I want to haul my gun on my pack, I just slip the stock through there, let it cinch around the hand grip, and then run the gun up through here. So So now it's hanging from that paracord, and then just wrap everything up. I don't necessarily recommend that for everyone. You got to be confident that you've got everything worked out correctly. The other way is to add an accessory scabbard that would run down the same exact spot and would attach to the pack, which would be a real safe setup with this. But I don't end up having my gun on my pack a whole lot on these hunts typically, because we don't do a lot of climbing on foot. If we're going to climb, we usually use the horse. But from time to time, I'll strap the gun to the pack, and this is a nice pack to do it with. It works quickly and easily and simply, and I can get at it real quickly. So that's all I can think of right now. I've covered a whole lot. Hopefully it wasn't too long for you, and I hope you caught a couple little things that you'll think about. By no means is what I'm bringing the perfect stuff or the best stuff or the only stuff. There's a million ways to skin the cat. I've kind of refined this down over the years, wanting to bring less and less stuff with me, just have less stuff to deal with in the vehicle and at home and on the hunt especially. I just want to spend all my time hunting. I don't want to be thinking about gear and dealing with gear and stuff like that. So this has worked well for me. A lot of this stuff we do sell at the Long Range Hunting Store, and we're happy to answer questions and chat with you about upcoming hunts and help you figure out what you need. Our phone number is 920-376-2010, and our email is store@longrangehunting.com. Look forward to hearing from you, and looking forward to seeing the LRH group hunters out this week, and hopefully having some great success stories to report back to you all. So thanks.